Hey guys, YouTuber100 here. Alright, now starting my series of Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th reviews in chronological order. Here's my review of the earliest released one, which is Friday the 13th Part 4, aka the final chapter. Yeah, so I just finished watching this movie, and I really don't know whether or not I think this one was good or bad, because it wasn't really like terrible or anything, but there was really just like a bunch of unnecessary stuff in this movie, and some of the stuff just made this movie feel just kind of forced. Yeah, but this really wasn't like a horrendous movie or anything. But I think overall, this is probably my least favorite one out of all the ones I've seen so far. Yeah, so this movie, this probably has like the best, like the biggest stars of the Friday the 13th series, which I guess that's not really saying a lot, because there weren't that many big stars in the Friday the 13th series to begin with, yeah. But this movie has people like Corey Feldman from The Lost Boys and Crispin Glover in it. And yeah, some of the murders in this movie were actually pretty violent, and uh, I'll get into them in this review. But yeah, but overall, I think this is probably my least favorite Friday the 13th movie I've seen so far. I give this about 2.75 stars out of 4. Yeah, so yeah, let me just get right into the review. Alright, so the movie starts with kind of like a recap of what happened in the previous movies. You saw like the camp clips of the campfire tale from the second movie, and we saw some of the various deaths from the other 3 movies, yeah. And then cut to like paramedics and people like clearing out the bodies from the barn at the end of the third movie. And yeah, they were loading up Jason into the ambulance, and then when it got to the hospital, he was put into a room with the doctor. And then the doctor was trying to like flirt with one of the nurses, and then yeah, they were like about to have sex or something in the room where Jason was, but then like Jason's arm just like fell down on them, it, like popped out of the underneath the gurney. Yeah, the nurse just decided to just leave. Even then, yeah, eventually Jason then popped up and then killed the doctor by slitting his throat with a hacksaw. Yeah. And then Jason then killed the nurse by cutting her with a knife and then just cutting down. Ugh. Yeah. And then it cut to like the main character, Trish, and she was like jogging with a friend. And then yeah, Trish then went home with her, where we saw her brother Tommy, who was played by Corey Feldman, and her mom. Yeah. And then yeah, there were some teenagers that were driving around down to like a rental house where Trish and her family were, yeah. And on the way they actually drove by Jason's mother's grave. And yeah, there was like some hitchhiker like asking for a ride or something. And yeah, the teens were just like talking smack to her. Yeah. And then she sat down and ate a banana. And then Jason attacked her and killed her with like, I think like he like pierced the back of her neck or something with a spear. Yeah. And then yeah, eventually then they do get to the rental house that they're staying at. Yeah. And then, yeah, they meet Trish and Tommy. I mean, yeah. And then the next day, all the teens like go down to the lake and they meet this twin couple, twin sisters couple, Tina and Terry. And then they go down to the lake and then they start to go skinny dipping and Tommy starts to see it. Yet, and then, yeah, Trish comes and makes him, like, turn around, and then she just takes him away from all of it, yeah. And, yeah, Trish and Tommy then head home, and then their car breaks down, and then, yeah, Tommy actually tries to fix it. I mean, Tommy was only 12 years old, and he's actually trying to fix cars, yeah. And then they meet this other guy, Rob, and then he helps fix the car, and Trish and Tommy take him to their house. And then Tommy was just really interested in showing Rob his room and the stuff he had. He had like some masks and stuff. Yeah, and then at one point, one of the girl teens in the lake tries to get another one to come in, but she refuses, and then she pretends to like be killed or drown or something, just to get her to get into the water. She pulls her in, yeah. And then yeah, later that night, like a couple of other teens are starting to flirt with each other. Yeah, I mean, yeah, at the house, like at the house, there's like a bunch of like stuff that really I thought was just so unnecessary. Like there was just stuff like them dancing with each other and stuff. Yeah, and then and then a couple other teens, Tina and Paul, start going with each other, and then another teen, Sam, just leaves, and then she goes to the lake, and yeah, she strips naked, and then she swims into the lake to a rubber raft that's in the lake, and then yeah, she's laying in it. Jason's in the water, and he kills her by just stabbing right through the raft and her body, just piercing it. Yeah, and then later on, Paul leaves to go find Sam. And then yeah, he swims over to the raft, and then he sees what happened to her, and then he tries to swim off, but yeah, Jason gets him too before he can get away, and then Jason stabbed Paul right in the groin. I mean, oh. Yeah, just seeing that really made me cringe. I was just like, oh my gosh. And the groin, really? Yeah, and then, yeah, Rob was then over in his tent, and he went to go look for Jason or something, yeah. And then, yeah, as Tina and Paul are still all, like, with each other, yeah, they're having sex in the bedroom, and then, yeah, Terry, another one of the teens, wants to leave, but Tina refuses, so Terry starts to leave without her. And then, yeah, as she was leaving, we didn't actually see it happen. We just saw a shot of Jason then killed her by stabbing her in the back. And yeah. Then later on, Trish and Tommy's mom come home, and then yeah, Trish and Tommy aren't there, and then she goes to look for them. Then she goes outside, and then yeah, Jason kills her off camera. Yeah. Yes, and then yeah. Wait, earlier on when I was talking about Terry getting killed, did I say Tina and Paul? Sorry, I meant Tina and Jimmy, another teen. Yeah, it was Jimmy sleeping with Tina, not Paul. Sorry. Yeah, and then yeah, they start. Yeah, they were sleeping with each other, and then yeah, downstairs there was a guy named Ted, and he was watching like some old porno or something, and he was really stoned while doing it. Then later on, Jimmy goes for a drink or something, and while he's looking for a corkscrew, Jason like he used something to like pin his hand down. Forgot what exactly it was, but yeah, the hand was starting to bleed, and then Jason killed Jimmy with with a cleaver right to the face. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, later on, as Tina comes back to the room, Jason like reaches through the window or something, and he just like pulls her out and threw her, and then Tina went flying right and landed right onto a car. I mean, ugh. Yeah, and yeah, then later on, Trish and Tommy get home and find that their mom is not there. Yeah, and they're looking for her, and then Trish told Tommy to stay home and in case she came back, and Trish went out looking for the mom. Yeah, and then another couple, Doug and Sarah, they were showering together, and then Sarah left the shower, and Doug was still in there, and then Jason then eventually killed him. He just pushed right through the glass of the shower, and then just pushed Doug's head against the wall, and then just crushed his skull. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, while Ted was still stoned, he like went up to the projector or something, and then Jason used a knife and stabbed him right in the back of the head and killed him. Yeah. And then Sarah came back to the shower and she saw what happened to Doug, and she tried to run off, but Jason then eventually killed her by giving her an axe right to the chest. She died. Yeah. And then Trish eventually came back to Rob's tent, and then Rob found her there. Yeah. Yeah. And then Rob was explaining to Trish about his sister Sandra from the second movie and how she was killed by Jason, and Jason is still continuing to kill. And then Trish told Rob that Tommy was still at home, and they went back home for him. And and then when they get there, they try to tell Tommy that Jason is around. Yeah. And then they go next door where the teens are, and then Trish just sees all the carnage all over the house, all the dead bodies. And then then Trish and Rob came across Jason, and then Jason just totally killed Rob, totally like beat the crap out of him, and then killed him. And then Jason then tried to go after Trish, but Trish had the machete, and then as when Jason grabbed onto Trish, Trish whacked Jason's wrist with the machete, and Jason eventually then did let go. And then Jason was chasing Trish around the house, and then at one point then Trish just jumped out of a window down to the ground. Yeah, it looked like she was dead at first, then she started to move, and then Jason then just walked away from the window and went downstairs. Yeah. And then Trish then ran home, and then she told Tommy to open the door for her. Yeah, and then Jason threw Rod's dead body right through the windows. And then Jason then grabbed Tommy, tried to get him, but then Trish whacked Jason and several times, and then Jason eventually, she whacked Jason in the head. Yeah, then Jason eventually did let go of Tommy. Then Trish and Tommy ran upstairs to Tommy's room, tried to mold the door with a shelf, set or something. Yeah, but Jason eventually broke through. Yeah, and then I think Trish then nailed Jason in the head with the hammer, and then Jason fell down to the ground. And then Trish and Tommy thought Jason was dead, but then Jason got back up, and Jason then went after Trish again. And yeah, And then yeah, Jason continued to try to chase after Trish, yeah. And then then a little later on, Trish came back home, and then yeah, Tommy was actually cutting his hair. He was like shaving it off, and then yeah, Jason then at one point then pinned and Trish down, and then yeah, Tommy then and showed up, and then yeah, we saw he was bald, and he got Jason's attention to try to like remind Jason of his young self. And as Jason was trying to like reach after Tommy, Trish then and gave Jason a whack with the machete, and then it actually like like hit nailed his mask off, and then yeah, we saw Jason's face. And then Trish then nailed Jason in the face with the machete, and then Jason fell down to the ground. And then yeah, Trish then did hug Tommy. Then Tommy saw Jason's hand was starting to move again. And then Tommy nailed Jason several times with the machete and Eddie. And then after that, it cut to the hospital where Trish was recovering from the shoulder injury. And then Tommy comes into the room, then she hugs, and then Tommy just gave like a really bizarre look to the camera, and that's how it ended. So, yeah, so that was Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Yeah, even though this is not the final chapter, yeah, we still have 7 more Friday the 13th movies to go. Oh, so yeah, like I said, this is probably like my least favorite Friday the 13th movie out of the ones I've seen so far. So yeah, like I said, 2.75 stars out of 4. So, yeah, that does it for my review of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 5 will be coming up next. So yeah, stay tuned for that coming up. And so yeah, hope you enjoyed this review. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.